now we are in pre-show. So let's find our pre-show. There's pre-show. And let's see who we've got with us on a rare Wednesday evening show. Jerome is here. Prashana is here. Now, Zach, Prashana is in Nepal. And it is 4:40 in the morning in Nepal. He's gotten up to watch the show.
Wow.
Dave is watching from the Pacific Northwest. Chuck is in California. Rudy is watching us from Belgium. Rudy is staying up really late because he was the host for the World of Live Streaming show this afternoon. And Howard is in New Jersey. That's
so
the folks in chat.
There's a lot of coffee going around.
Yeah, that's right. Late coffee and early coffee. Prashana's just going to stay awake for the rest of the day. He's going to pay the price. And Giles is here, so it's what, 5 till midnight
Giles.
for Giles.
Wow, there he is.
And Chuck's got it easy because it's 4:00 in the afternoon there, so no problem. If you're watching us on Facebook
And of
or
course,
watching us
I'm
on
in Tampa, so.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. You're on the Eastern time. Yeah, Giles, we got you. You're midnight. If you're watching us on Facebook or you're watching us on YouTube directly, do come over to easternshorebroadcasting.com because that's where the chat room is. And you say, what does the chat room look like? Because we can't really see it. Well, the chat room looks like this. And sometimes when I don't have a guest on, we'll do the chat room like this so that you can read the chat and kind of chat along with me. But today, since Zach is on the show with us, we're doing a side-by-side, and you'll have to come to easternshorebroadcasting.com to get in on the chat. So we hope you'll do that for a rare special guest, Zach, a rare special guest.
I know. It's because I work on Wednesdays when you normally do the show, so I actually rarely catch it live. I always have to watch it after the fact.
Well, we used to be on Tuesdays.
Good for me as well.
Right.
Oh.
We used to do it on Tuesdays, and it turns out there were so many live streaming shows that had live streaming as the subject of the show. So on Tuesdays, so we moved to Wednesdays to not be in competition. I see Merle is here. Okay, Merle is here. Thank you, Merle. Glad to have you.
Hey, Merle.
And Merle Dixon is here, and Merle Cox is here. All right. And we've got another.
I also have the chat up so I can see what people are saying.
Good. All right. Folks, if you didn't already know, of course, Zach is the overall winner of the very first ever streaming awards. And Zach, that's going to be a historic kind of thing. I mean,
It really is.
You don't know where these kind of things start, but if 50 years from now the streaming awards turns out to be like the Oscars, when people are playing trivia games, they'll say, okay, who was the very first overall award winner? And that'll be you.
Oh, Lord.
And they'll call you up at your nursing home and say, congratulations.
Probably.
I think we've got a little extra lag between your video and my video today. So if I talk over you, I apologize in advance. I'm likely to do that. Okay. So did you guys think that you had an award-winning show?
I'm using Phoenix on my side as well.
Okay.
No. To be honest, I mean, the show just started by accident, and I'll talk more about that in the show, but no, I mean, I've always tried anything I do, I try to give it my best, and my love of tech really shows through when I do technical stuff, so I really enjoy pushing the boundaries and trying to find as much, what can we do? Yeah, it's like, okay, can we do this? I know it sounds crazy, but can we make it work? Yeah, and I love playing around and just trying new stuff. If it works, great. If it doesn't, then you usually learn something.
Right.
Or blow something up.
Right. Well, and, we were on a family cruise back in March, and, I was forbidden from bringing any tech stuff with me because they knew I would start playing with it while we were on the cruise. But that would be my idea of, kind of a double whammy vacation, to go on a cruise and bring all my tech toys with me at the same time.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm not one of those people that can go. My idea of a vacation is not sitting by the pool. I would go crazy. So, I mean, I've got to be doing stuff. I've got to be very active. And this is perfect. It's a perfect combination of having amazing views, amazing scenery, but still doing what I actually love doing and enjoying myself with it. And being able to just do interviews and do live streaming and try new stuff while I'm on the ship. Perfect.
Yep. Yep.
And if I should happen to do cruises without having to pay, so much the better.
Indeed. Indeed.
Every job
Okay.
has its perk.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to make sure I got this thing set right. Oh, golly. Sometimes the weak link is the host. Let's see. Well, we'll just have to assume that it's going to work the way it's supposed to. We will see. We will see. All right. Zach, sit tight. I'm going to mute your mic, and we'll get going with the show, and we will be back with you. Well, we've been through that, so you know the deal. So here we go. Oops, I muted my mic and not Zach's. That's terrible. Okay, so we're going to fade to black. Hello and welcome. I'm Tom Sinclair, and this is Streaming Idiots, a very special edition of Streaming Idiots. It's not just any time that we do an evening appearance. So if you're watching us in the U.S., it's somewhere between 4 and 7 o'clock. If you're watching us from Nepal, it's 4:45 in the morning. Thank you for watching, Prashada. If you're watching us live, come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. If you're not watching us from there, that way you can get it on the chat. We're not monitoring the chat in Facebook or in YouTube or in Periscope or Twitter. So come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com. Plus, that's where the highest quality feed is. If you've got the bandwidth, we're sending 1080p. Not that you need to see me at 1080p, but we've got some pictures here coming up in just a few minutes that you'll want to see. Before we have our special guest, Zach Adams with Cruise Week TV on, you remember Zach is the one that not only was #1 in the category in the streaming awards of #1 producer, but his show Cruise Week TV won the overall award in streaming, the streaming awards. So we'll have him on in just a minute to talk about that. It's a ton of fun. And they did a really great job. But a couple of announcements here about this show. First, I guess we better do the disclaimer that this is a giant infomercial. Mostly info, but a little commercial, as somebody was telling me today. Eastern Shore Broadcasting is the producer of the show. And I am the president of Eastern Shore Broadcasting and the chief bottle washer. And what we do is we design and build PCs for folks that are doing live streaming to your specifications. We also have available some of the more difficult to find piece parts that go into a live stream production, and we know those piece parts intimately. We represent Magewell and PTZ Optics and PI Engineering with the X keys, and of course vMix, which is the heart of all of our live streams. We've got one line that we're talking real seriously with some folks, actually 2 lines that we're talking real seriously with the folks about bringing on, so you'll want to stay tuned for that. That's in the optics area, so that's always going to be neat, and I think we may have an announcement next week about that. The other thing is that if you're thinking about live streaming or you've started live streaming and things just aren't working the way you wanted them to, we do coaching. So if you need some coaching, if you've got an area that you need some troubleshooting in, that's what we do. Come to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click the coaching tab and set an appointment. You can do all that online. It keeps my schedule there so that we can determine a good time, or you can determine a good time for you, knowing that it's already a good time for me. And we're delighted to assist with that. If you have a quick question, and I'm talking about just a quick question, something you just can't get, and you need a freebie, call us. Our number is on the website. Our phone number, yes, you can get an actual phone number on the website. You can also use the contact form and shoot us an email. So there are lots of different ways to get a hold of us. So we would be delighted. We'd also be delighted if you joined our Facebook group right down here at the bottom. Facebook.com/groups/streaming idiots. And there is a conversation going 24/7 on Streaming Idiots with folks all over the world who are chiming in with their problems and their concerns and their successes in live streaming. A lot of great sharing going on. Folks are very willing to help. The group now numbers over 800. I'm amazed. When Jan Lind and Marie and I started that, well, they started it. It hasn't even been a year. It's only been 8 months ago. We were hoping that we might get 50 people by the end of the year, and so this has far exceeded our expectations. So we welcome you to join us. Just go to Facebook.com/groups/streaming idiots and click on the little join button, I guess is what it is. And if you're watching us on YouTube, you can also subscribe. All right, so now we got all the business out of the way. My guest tonight, Zach Adams, is the winner, as we mentioned, of the 2017 Streaming Awards for Best Production, Best Produced Show, and also was the #1 vote getter, and so was the overall award winner. And as a result, the sponsor of the show, PTZ Optics, gave them a brand new PTZ Optics camera. And they have got all sorts of exciting things that they plan to do. Well, don't let me tell you about it. Let me bring Zach in on the show. Zach, are you there? There we go. I muted me instead of turning you on.
Let's try that again.
There we go. Yes. Yes, we can hear you, Zach.
Right.
Welcome.
Hey, everybody.
Welcome. Zach.
Thanks, Tom. It's great to be with you.
We're delighted to have you.
I am usually, it's weird because I am in front of a camera. Usually I am the one behind the camera pushing the buttons.
Yep. Well, you're doing fine. You're doing fine.
But we're talking tech, so I mean, that will bring me out because I absolutely love technology.
Let's start at the beginning, though. Where did live streaming, where were you when live streaming first got on your radar?
Oh, I have been bouncing around playing with live streaming since cameras were around on the internet. Like I said, I absolutely love technology, and live streaming was something that I've played around with on and on for probably about 10 years or more now. I mean, mine and your paths crossed way back in the VidBlaster days when I was trying to put together another show that never actually got off the ground. But I got the VidBlaster and I was playing around and I got the technology. So I have a lot of stuff in the studio or my office, actually. This is where I work normally. So it's a dual function, probably a little like yours. And then, of course, along came Cruise Week TV, which happened purely by accident. You know, the best things just happen by accident.
Tell me.
Yeah. So, I mean, it was a case with Cruise Week TV. I had a bunch of friends that were going on a cruise, and they're like, oh, you should film it. I'm like, nah, we can do better than that. Filming, that's so 1980s. Let's live stream this from a ship in the middle of the Caribbean. What could possibly go wrong, right?
No problem.
So, yeah, easy. Couple of cameras, couple of that. Well, of course, this is about a year ago now. So the internet has caught up quite a bit, but it was still a little bit of a challenge. The biggest challenge was when we approached the cruise line and basically said, hey, we're just asking permission, can we do this? And their answer was, heck no, absolutely not. Wait, you want us to let you run around the ship with a live camera where we cannot control and have no input as to what we are streaming out? I'm like, yep, exactly. Anyway, So it took a lot. I don't take no for an answer easily. So I'm like, look, this is a really good idea. I know this will work. You've just got to have a little bit of faith for us. And of course, I'm not some big production company or anything like that. I don't have anything at that point to really show them. I've just got, this is a concept. I
Right.
know it'll work. So eventually, after a lot of work, it took about 6 months of going backwards and forwards with the
Wow.
corporate office. Now you've got to remember, this time it's Carnival. So you're talking about a global corporation. And there's little me going, I'm going to do this. Even though you would never normally allow it, let me do it. Eventually, somebody like, just probably to shut me up, was like, let them do it. So I had my friends who had never been on a cruise before. When we live stream the whole trip, from getting ready to going on the ship to Spencer losing his bags, Spencer not being in the cabin almost every night until the last night, and there's just a big pile of junk that everybody on the cruise was stopping him and telling him to clean up, because we had half, by about quarter of the way through the cruise, we had half the ship watching on their phones. So we are live streaming this as close to 24/7 as we could. We're following the guys around. We're just documenting this whole aspect of being brand new on a cruise, not knowing what they're doing. And then we turned it around where the guys would then show everybody what they've learned during this 7 days and take a tour of the ship and point out all the things and all the mistakes they've made and learned. And we had the guests also jump in with their tips and tricks to try and help the people. So anyway, it was a good success. And so we came back really stoked. A lot of video that we'd recorded at the same time. A lot of people watching, including, of course, a lot of people at Carnival. And they said, hey, that worked out really good. If you want to do it again, you have our blessing. So we're like, great, we can't let this opportunity go to waste. We've got something here. So, of course, it takes a little while to build up money for an next cruise. And in the meantime, we're like, well, what do we do? And one of the guys on the cruise, my friend Matt, was really good in front of the camera. I'm like, Matt, we got to do like a weekly show. We got to do like a weekly cruise show. But you know nothing about cruising. I've been on like 2 cruises by that point. So I basically know nothing. How on earth are we going to do a cruise show about cruising when we know nothing? I'm like, let's just do that and let that be our angle. A show about cruisers from people that don't know how to cruise.
Right.
But the key was we would bring in guests who did, and then we'd all learn together. So that's what we did. And our first show, I brought in a guest that had a very big cruise Facebook group. So she had nearly 100,000 people. So, of course, consequently, that very first show, because she'd advertised it on her group, brought in nearly 20,000 people and kicked the show off. And we haven't looked back since.
That's the
We
way
have
to start.
grown where it is, and we've grown to where we've added people. We've added a second host so that Matt can get a bit of a break on weekends. He's not having to do it every single week. And Joe, who's our other host, can focus now on Royal Caribbean. So Matt handles Carnival stuff. Joe does Royal Caribbean. And then we've got co-hosts we've brought on as well. And of course our guests. And we've even had people within the cruise industry approach us and say, hey, can we do something here with you? So we've had Jess, who was the cruise director on the Carnival Triumph, and every second week she sends me some video of behind the scenes and stuff like that. She does it every second week because the Wi-Fi is so bad on her ship. It takes about 2 weeks to get the video on.
Oh my goodness.
So,
Oh my goodness. That is
so that's how
too
we've grown,
fun.
and then I've been on several more cruises since then. And one of the beauty of the thing is that, like I said, I absolutely love tech. So I try and push the boundaries. I try and say, okay, what can we do that's never been done before? What can we do that might be absolutely crazy, but if it works, it will be really cool. So one of the cruises we did, why don't we do a 24/7 cabin cam? And I designed this camera with magnets on because the walls are actually metal um, under the facade. So I just clip this thing up and run it through a computer, and we have this 24/7 cabin cam. And it was great because they got to watch the cabin stewards do all the cleaning and stuff like that, and we have the cabin steward in on it. So he would like cover the camera for a few moments and make like a towel animal and then uncover the camera. It was great. Everyone was loving that. And just doing a lot of live streaming. It's had its issues. It's had its issues trying to sometimes get the signal out or working within the ship's systems because it's not really designed for this. Yeah, we're having fun trying, seeing what we can do.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, tell me about some of what goes on behind the scenes for your weekly show, because I know you've got some really cool stuff that you've put together.
Oh yeah, I got to tell you, it's a lot more work than I originally thought. I'm like, okay, a weekly show, not a problem. Whenever you've got guests coming in, and Tom's like, uh-huh, we understand. Finding guests, booking guests, making sure that they have internet, and again going through problems. I'm sometimes dealing with guests on little Caribbean islands, and I'm like, "Do you have high-speed internet?" "Oh yes, man, we got the highest speed internet of the island, man." "Yeah, 2G." um, I'm working with technology like that and trying to put it together. So it takes me. I usually start on the show on a Tuesday, and it takes me through Saturday to put it all together and build everything up. And I put together a lot of equipment, a lot of kind of toys to improve what I can do. I'll show you a couple of pictures here. So this is a shot almost as you would normally see from the camera point of view. This is Matt, that's one of our hosts sitting there, and that is our studio. Now, the back wall is actually actually right behind here, there is a big window with a comforter under it. And then what I've done behind here is this is the Halloween decorations you can buy at Halloween. There were strips of the vinyl, and I've hung that to make a wall. So that's what I've done with that. And then, of course, this is Joe. He's our other host there. And you can see I put the set all the way up to the ceiling. And this is a shot from the angle of the host seat. And of course, you can see a lot of monitors there. Um, the vMix system, of course, is over onto the right side. And then I have, of course, the other monitors that show Facebook and also the chat so that I can communicate with the host. I got a Zoom running as a backup on that particular one, and then some big monitors. And then, of course, that big camera sitting in the middle with the teleprompter is what the host goes from. The teleprompter we use, of course, to have him follow along with the lines and the various stuff with the ads that we run on the show. We'll do that. But the interview, of course, is live, so it just at that point it just says interview. So and then of course that is this one right there is a close up of our main camera. And then what I did right below it, because I saw that Matt was facing towards the vMix monitor when he's talking with the guests. So I mounted a small monitor right below the camera, and then I configured vMix to show the guest on that bottom monitor. That way, when you're talking to the guest, you only have to move your eyes up and down instead of side to side. Now, of course, I'm not in front of the camera, I'm pushing buttons. So this is where I sit, which is also my living room. And my big TV, I act as a second monitor. And then if you can see the APC Mini sitting there, that's how I control everything. So the host just has to sit there and talk, and I'm controlling all the social media aspects of that and trying, putting everything together and pushing the buttons. I'm also talking to the host in his ear, so I'm telling him, okay, do this, do that, or I'm moving on or something like that. So there's a lot of different stuff I've got. Now this right here is a rig that I put together for a live streaming on the ships. So it actually is an iPhone 6 with a Tascam connected for stereo input. Then one I've connected to a Rode mic and the other to a wireless mic receiver. Because it's very light, and I can also read, if I'm streaming live to Facebook, I can read what's going on in chat. And I can also now, thanks to using Switcher Studio, I can record at the same time to it, which was one of my big problems before. So I've really gone to this for just ease of use. I still have my big 4K camera, but that is a lot easier to use. This one is my 4K camera. I've got a JVC. It's a little heavier, and again, I've got a Listic um, teleprompter that's connected to the front, which uses cell phone as a display. So it's very portable, and I try to build these things up as I've gone along to try and make it very easy to use, because when you're on a ship, you don't know if you're going to grab an interview really quick by one of the people that have 10 minutes between their work or stuff or what. So I've got to be very flexible in what I can actually do, and the equipment has to work with me. The good thing about the JVC is that it can also live stream, and then my holder up at the top is for a cell phone, so I can plug a cell phone in to again monitor the system and just see what people are saying, and I can monitor the stream and everything like that. So that's basically some of the equipment that I've got.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Well, tell us a little bit about the picture frame over your left shoulder.
Oh, the picture frame. Yeah. I wanted to be able to put in relevant pictures and relevant photos as the show's going on. So if I just switch back to that, you'll see there's video there from cruise ships. So what I did is, rather than just have a square hanging in midair, I took a picture frame, I took the glass out, and used green cardboard just from the local Publix supermarket. They had some green card, and I use that as a green screen so that I can overlay stuff. But using a picture frame, it looks more natural. That way, there isn't that big square that just suddenly appears in the middle of the picture. That way, I don't have anything behind me that is green screen, but I still have the green screen ability.
I love it. I love it. That is so creative. And I mean, how did you get that idea?
I didn't want to do all green screen because I know we've seen problems with the lighting and getting it done correctly. And like I said, this is also my office, right? But I've got monitors sitting in front of me which will cast shadows. Also, I can literally touch the back here. That's how close I am. So green screening the whole thing would be very problematic. And I had no room. This is actually my home, my apartment that I live in, but I've converted half of it to a studio. So very small space actually. So coming up with this was the best of both worlds. It gives me the ability to switch and make the background interesting and relevant without trying to go through the craziness of trying to green screen the whole thing.
Yep. Now, shifting gears just a tad, PTZ Optics has given you a camera as the award winner for the
Yes.
2017. And you're going to take the camera on your next cruise, which is just coming up less than 2 weeks. And you're going to set up a
yes.
24/7 camera that people watching from home can control and look at the ship. That is amazing. How in the world are you going to do that?
How are we going to do it? I have no idea yet. I've got an idea, and it might work. But yes, I've got this PTZ Optics camera, and it's phenomenal. I've been playing around with it here, and I've got to say the zoom is amazing on this thing. It's 20 times optical zoom, so that's not actually just stretching pixels. That's optical. So we're on Oasis of the Seas, and if anybody's ever been on this, it is a split hull design. This ship is massive. What that means is the middle of the ship is hollow. So they have these neighborhoods, and the balconies, you can have an inside or an outside balcony. We have an inside cabin, but the balcony looks over to the inside of the ship, down onto these neighborhoods. And we're over what's called Central Park. So imagine an upscale neighborhood park with like little bistros and stuff like that, and lots of trees and shrubs and winding paths. They have this in the middle of the ship. So I'm going to mount the camera on the balcony, but the key is we're going to allow people to be able to control this camera. So people are going to be able to go onto cruiseweek.tv, go to the watch live page, and they're going to be able to control the camera, move it around, zoom in and out on people walking around, stuff like that. Now, obviously, a ship is not really designed for that sort of control coming in. There's a lot of firewalls. There's a lot of stuff there that they make sure so that you're not hacking into the systems or sharing files with everybody else on the ship. So we've had to be really creative to figure out a way of getting that control back through to the ship. So in theory, it works. In practice, we're not going to know until the 13th when I actually set it up. I've tested it on land, but until we try it with their firewalls and see, it should work. But that's all I can say.
That is so cool. I can't wait to try it. I can't wait to try it. Now, the other thing that caught my eye, and this is not something that you've just done. This is something you did a while back, but the USB control that you're using in your studio. Talk to us a little bit about that, because you're using
Yeah,
an Akamai Mini, right?
I
No,
am.
no, no.
This is my
Kai.
controller. I've actually got two of them. So this is a beauty that I absolutely love. This is probably my favorite thing about vMix is that it has the ability to use a MIDI controller. So this little device is $100 and it's a lifesaver. Um, with this, I can control, of course, all the shots and all the audio levels through the MIDI through USB. So I'm like, okay, if I can do this, is it possible to remotely control a show from another location? And I started playing around with it, and in the Streaming Idiots forums, I started asking people, hey, anybody got one of these? They want to try this idea? And we used a USB over IP program, which basically allows you to emulate a USB device at another end and send the data backwards and forwards over the internet. And I tested it as far away as Australia with somebody controlling my vMix from their place with almost zero lag time. So I would use a vMix call to bring them in so that they could see the output. And then I would use a program I use is FlexiHub, but there's very cheaper versions as well. Yeah, I use FlexiHub because coming up on the ship, I know it will go through a lot of the firewalls. Um, so literally, you put that on both sides, you connect it um, through a central server. So you don't need to know the IP address of the other side. You just need to both log on with the same username and password combo, and it connects them both together. Very easy. And then you literally say, okay, I want this. I want to control this USB device. Boom, it's there, and it worked. It worked really good. We're going to actually test it fully on this cruise because I'm going to be on the ship controlling the entire show with all the equipment apart from my laptop and my little controller board is going to be back here in the studio. So I'm literally going to be on the ship with my laptop, my controller, coming in on a vMix call, but controlling the entire show. Like I said, what could possibly go wrong?
What could possibly go wrong? Indeed, indeed. So does that mean you have to have the same controller on each end?
No, you don't need the same controller at all. You just need the same software, the same piece of software. So I won't need one of these on the other end. Now I do have a backup of this sitting here on my desk, just in case, because if I do lose control, the host is going to be able to take control and change the shots so the show won't go down. Um, but so far, the good thing about it is using two of the controllers, they mirror each other. So if I hit a button on one, both of them light up with that button control. So it's really good. So very, very useful. It's like an auto backup. Um, of course, when I'm doing the show normally, I'm in the other room and I have one, and the host has one on the desk because he can adjust his mic levels into his ear. And also, I have talkback. from there, so you can adjust my volume into his ear separately.
That
So if
is
I yell at him
awesome.
too much, he just turns me down.
That is awesome. I love it. I love it. Zach, I am so impressed.
Um, Rudy in your chat room just asked a question for me. No problems with passengers not wanting this. Um, no, actually, nowadays there's so many people. You go on a cruise, everybody's got their phones out, everybody's recording. I am obviously aware of passengers, and if you see them trying to hide from a camera, I'm not going to stick a camera in their face. But the ships are so big nowadays, and there's so many people with cameras that you almost get lost in the crowd. A lot of times we're focusing on doing a lot of interviews with the crew or the dancers, the entertainment people, or stuff like that, rather than particularly shooting other people. In fact, what we found when we did our first cruise week was that it was the opposite. We were actually having so many people just coming up to us wanting to be on camera. It was almost becoming a problem. And when we were trying to talk to somebody, everybody was absolutely loving it. So they were really enjoying because they could then tell all their friends back home, "Hey, check this out and watch us on the ship."
Right,
So it
right.
worked really good.
Oh, that's neat. Well, I hope you'll be able to stay around with us for just a few more minutes
Oh yeah.
and answer some questions in the chat room because we've got a bunch of folks there and in fact they all want to come with you on your cruise. so so you'll need to get some names and addresses so you can send them all tickets, of course. Yeah, right, right, right.
There we go.
But Zach, thank you so much for taking time out to come on the show. You know, again, congratulations to you on the streaming awards and the PTZ Optics camera. Congratulations on a hugely successful show, and just know here that all the folks at Streaming Idiots are just cheering for you and cheering you on, and we're glad you've done so well. It's really really great, really really great.
Thanks. Yeah, it's a great wild ride, and I'm absolutely loving every minute of it.
Awesome. 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 Okay, folks, Zach's going to stick around. So if you're watching us live, stick around too, and we will have him on in the post show. Um, so don't go anywhere. Now, if you've watched this far and you're watching it as a recorded show, you need to subscribe. Obviously, you're hooked because we don't have guests as great as Zach every week, but a lot of times we do. So we hope you'll subscribe. We hope you'll visit easternshorebroadcasting.com and see what we have to offer there. Of course, if you need vMix, if you need a copy of vMix, we can help you with that. We're an authorized reseller and give all sorts of awesome tech support and encouragement for the folks that are purchasing vMix and other products from us. And if you're watching us live, stick around for a few minutes. Actually, not even a few minutes, just a few seconds. And we'll have Zach to answer your questions in the post show. Next week, August 9th, we've got William Warfield with Prep Spin coming on to talk about sports streaming. We also will have a couple announcements about new products. And I think we're going to have the ability to demo two new products next week. One is the Marshall CVC, or is it CV500? Anyway, it's an older version of the CV502 and the 505. Just a little teeny cam that may be a great candidate for a desk cam or a small studio cam. So we'll be playing with that on next week's show and in the post show. And then we also, Howard Jones has been working furiously on the WIDA wireless HDMI video transmitter and has got it ready to release. He sent us a demo version. Hopefully we'll get that in time to be able to test it and have some footage for that on next week's show. So that's going to be really interesting. You'll want to tune in for that and for William Warfield with Prep Spin next week. So, on behalf of the award-winning Cruise Week TV director, Zach Adams, I'm Tom Sinclair, and we will see you next time. Stick around in the post show. We'll be right back. And we are done. Yay. All right, Zach, hold on. Let me turn you back on.
Oh, that was fun.
There you are. There you are.
There
Yeah,
you
good work. Good work. Oh, I forgot to announce Streamfest. Yeah, that's coming up August 5th, this coming Saturday. It's going to be a 24 hours or 18 hours of solid state streaming from all over the world. It's going to be amazing.
Wow.
So Zach, everybody wants to know what do they have to do to get in the drawing for a free cruise ticket?
Another point where I've got free cruise tickets to give away.
Right,
I'm barely
right.
doing cruises myself, actually.
Okay. Well, we'll let you off
that's
the
one of
hook on
That
that.
is one of the perks of building up the show. You do start as you get bigger. Companies do start approaching you with stuff. A couple of the shore excursions that were going on, we've reached out to them and of course said, hey, if we live stream it, would you waive your normal fees? And usually they've gone above and beyond. They've said, oh, not only will we waive the fees, we'll do one just for you guys, because it's good advertising for them.
Yes, absolutely.
So we've got so on St. Martin, which is our first port on this, we're going on a tour, and we've actually got all the viewers to vote, because they do 4 different tours, and they approached us and said, which one do you want? I'm like, I don't know, let's just ask our viewers. So everyone's voting, and it looks like right now the historical tour of the whole island is the top rated one. So that's what we'll do for them.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
That's cool.
So then we've got stuff on San Juan and Haiti. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Usually I like to get away from the tourist areas as well when I travel. So, of course, I go into crazy places and I drag my friends that a lot of times it's their first time on a cruise. I give them a scare of their life. We go way out of the tourist area. We go into the local areas, and we will strike up conversations and friendships with locals and end up in their homes chatting with them and breaking bread at the table. Yeah, it's great because they really, I remember live streaming that whole thing, which again is its own problem because first time I tried that, I got a $1,500 cell phone bill for 10 minutes of stream.
Oh
Yeah.
my.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Roaming charges are expensive. But I
guess
got
there's
around that. I started getting. Well, what I did, Tom, is I started getting the SIM cards from the local phone companies on the various islands and using those. And then AT&T just rolled out this new thing for just $10 each day you use it. You can stream from wherever you are, and you use your existing plan. And I have unlimited, so that's perfect for me. I'm really looking forward because it means I don't have to keep swapping SIM cards out on every port.
right. You're getting this all figured out, all the ins and outs. I love it.
Yeah, Giles just said he's been experimenting with USB over IP hardware. You said hardware, Giles. Is that hardware or just the software? Because you said the results are limited. I have not had any issues when I'm doing the vMix control. I haven't had much luck sending like a webcam over it. That doesn't really work. That's too high a bandwidth. But something small like just basic controls for vMix has worked flawlessly so far.
So you're taking a controller with you, and you're mashing a button on that controller on the ship, and it's sending a signal back to the PC that's in your studio there in Tampa, and it's executing that function.
Yes.
And so if it's a control for a shortcut in vMix, of course, that means the shortcut has to be on the PC in Tampa.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, which it does because, I've got, of course, for the show, I've got them all already set up. The show will be set up ahead of time. So I've got all the controls, and that's a lot of buttons on there. That is a lot of buttons up there that I use.
James is in the chat room, and he said that you and he tested it. That was your Australian connection.
That's right, yeah. Exactly, yeah. We tested it, and it worked really good. And in fact, I use the same FlexiHub, even though I'm only in the other room. I use FlexiHub to connect the two APCs together. because I wanted to make sure it worked reliably. So
Wow.
I'm actually I'm going out of the house through their central server and back in anyway when I do the show.
So could you do that with a
Even though I
mouse and
could
a
just do
keyboard?
it, yes, hmm
Huh.
yeah. Of course, you would also want to be able to see the screen, but you're pointing out with mouse and a keyboard.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Gotcha. Right.
but yeah, I mean, but so far it worked really good. FlexiHub is a little expensive because it can send a lot of different stuff over IP. So it's not just USB. It can do
Okay.
serial. It can do can it says it can do webcams. I haven't had a lot of luck with anything really heavy duty, but pretty much if there's a USB connection on there or a serial connection or something on the board, you can send it.
Chuck is asking about the internet speeds from and to the ship.
Okay, so there's two different types of internet speed on the cruise ship. There's Royal
Slow and
Caribbean and there's
slower.
Carnival. No, incredibly flat, fast, and slow. Um, I wish I had my speed test to show you. On Royal Caribbean, they use OB3 low orbiting satellites with 1.5 gig to each ship dedicated. I am routinely getting about 15 meg down and about 5 to 8 meg up on a ship with over 6,000 people on it. And they're not doing anything special for me. They're not prioritizing my traffic. That is just normal. We were sending 1080p from our cabin cam the last time I was on Oasis with no problem whatsoever.
I remember watching some of the live, and the problem was not the internet speed. The problem was the connection to the Wi-Fi there on the ship. You just couldn't get
Mm-hmm.
good Wi-Fi connection. Once you got a Wi-Fi connection, you had good internet, but it was getting that Wi-Fi connection that was
Yeah,
the challenge.
there was one problem. One problem was a challenge, but another Royal Caribbean ship came up in port next to us and docked. Unfortunately, they hadn't thought about this, and the Wi-Fi access point SSIDs are the same on all the ships. So of course we're suddenly being connected to their ship, and of course it wasn't recognizing us, which was driving me crazy until I figured out what the heck was going on, because all of a sudden it wouldn't accept my username and password.
That's crazy.
I
That's
couldn't,
crazy. I
I
love it.
would not wanted to be the internet guy during that time, because they must have had a lot of people calling confused.
hmm Oh, I bet. I
Yeah,
bet. Chuck also wants
yeah.
to know more about the Akai controller. That's $100, and it's
hmm
USB, and it
Yeah,
allows you to send
it's
signals to
MIDI.
control shortcuts in vMix. Tell us more.
hmm Plus, it also allows vMix to send. Actually, let me show you one that is plugged in because that gives you a better idea. So I'm turning sideways, but if you see those flashing lights there, so basically what you can do is set up very easily in vMix your shortcuts, but you can also control your audio. So these sliders here I've got linked to the vMix mixer. And then as I change buttons, you'll see I hit that and you'll see that changes on the back, but also now that light is flashing and two more have come up because that is now where I can change pictures. So those two are showing that I'm now active. I can control the background picture backwards and forwards like that by using those buttons. So basically I can set up um, scenes, if you want to call it, on those buttons and assign that, and I just use a label maker to stick a button over, and then I color the label different colors so that I grouped them, and it works extremely well. I love the fact that it's got the sliders at the bottom, so I can configure up to I think there's 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there's 9 sliders on the bottom, and I can configure those so I can adjust the audio level remotely. So, like I said, it brings the production level to a whole new area because I can be in a different room and I don't have to have that PC next to me. It was more convenient to have the PC in the studio, a short distance from the cameras and everything else.
I understand.
So,
I understand. And of course, with vMix having the activators function, that is, vMix can send a signal to turn a light on based on whatever the command was in vMix. How many keys are on that
yeah.
keyboard?
Plus, you can have different. I think there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's an 8x8 grid, and then there's smaller buttons on the side and below. But there is a button where you can use you can switch it to a whole second set if you
Uh-huh.
really want to. If I ever run out of this, I don't know what I'd do. Use
I
two.
yeah, get two of them. That's great. That's great.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
Rich
know. It's
says to
just
keep the dogs away from the mouse buttons. Yeah.
yeah. I
Folks,
mean,
I
that
want
was
to welcome
probably
you
my
to an
biggest
evening
point.
evening production of Streaming Idiots. I can see a lot of folks are watching on YouTube and Facebook, and you're not in the chat room. Come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and click the Watch Live button, and you can get in on what we've got going on here. Zach Adams is the producer of Cruise Week TV, fresh off an award from PTZ Optics, the streaming award, not just as the best produced show, but as the highest overall vote getter in the awards. And he is going on a cruise August 13th. And you guys will be streaming that on Facebook and YouTube and on your website. How are you going to do that? What are you going to do, Zach?
We will be streaming it on Facebook, Periscope, YouTube, YouNow, Twitch TV, and our website at the same time.
I love it.
Yes, I'm lucky that very early on, I bought a perpetual license to a small little startup called Wowzer Media Server for a few $100s. Now, Wowzer Media Server powers the back end to pretty much most streaming systems out there, including like Facebook, Twitch, things like that. And I've got one of those early licenses, so I'm lucky that I can use that. And that has the ability to take one stream in and then resend it out to all those devices, which is how I do it because that's my secret sauce on the ship. I only have to worry about one stream getting out and get to a server on land, and then that does everything else, all the heavy lifting. And from my phone, I can control each device, so I can turn each stream on and off individually. So if I just want to go to Facebook, it's just a couple of clicks. If I want to go to all of them at once, it's a couple of clicks. So very, very, very useful when your bandwidth is restricted, but you want to go out to multiple places.
You have got secret sauce just everywhere on this thing. I love this. This is awesome.
Yeah, I just love trying to find a way of making things happen where technically it shouldn't happen. The other good thing about bouncing you through through a Wowzer server is you have much more granular control of your stream. Normally when you turn on Facebook and you're using their app, it either works or it doesn't. When you use an RTMP and your Wowzer, you can tweak each little bit so you can adjust, and where Facebook will usually say, "Oh no, it's not going to work," you can push it through.
Awesome. Awesome. I'm loving it. I'm loving it. All right. Let's see what other questions we got. Paulo is watching us from Portugal, where it's early in the morning or late at night. We're glad to have you. And vMix is watching.
vMix, yeah, is that Martin or Tim?
I suspect that's Tim. Tim, if it's half asleep at work, that's Tim.
Yeah, and of course we love our vMix. We love our vMix.
Yes, yes, we do. Okay.
Look at that! I even got it on
a quick one.
I have it on a little button right there.
Well, and
Yeah,
Tim,
I mean,
will you
I'm
share in
absolutely in love
chat?
with vMix.
Tim, will you share in chat the upcoming vMix Funtime live show for August? If you'll share the date and time for that, we'd love to know what that is, um, because that's always a favorite. It is Tim. Good day, he says.
It
Good
is
day.
Tim. Yeah.
All right.
Martin's like, I'm not going to be up this late.
No, that's right. Well, for them, it's what is it? It's 6:48 here. Subtract 9 or add 15, depending on how you do it. So it's 9 something in the morning. And coming up next Tuesday, the 8th,
I thought
at
they
8
were
o'clock.
ahead of us.
No, no, that's when the Fun Time live show is.
Oh.
Next Tuesday, Zach. Come
It's
on.
late for me.
That's right.
I work so much all the days just run together.
Yeah, I got you. Tim says no, it's 9:50 in the morning there in Australia. So there we go. On Thursday.
There we go.
Yeah. This is good. Well, obviously we've kept you up past your bedtime, so we probably need to let you go. But I'm so excited.
I have our midweek show to do in 10 minutes.
Oh,
So
wow.
I'm jumping off here. Oh, I'm about to jump off here, reconfigure vMix. Luckily, of course, I have everything preloaded. I
Right.
can just reconfigure, and then I have to have our host Matt remote in from his place, and we do our midweek casual chat show at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. So that's in 11 minutes.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, and that's going to be at cruiseweek.tv or on Facebook or on YouTube, and people can watch that right now in 10 minutes.
All of the above.
Okay.
Yep.
Good. Well, we need to let him go. Zach, thank you so much. And the next time I'm down to Tampa, I have family in St. Pete, so I'll take you to breakfast or lunch or dinner, whatever you're up for.
Yeah, and you have to come and see the studio.
Oh, that would be a blast. I'd love it. Great.
Yes.
All right, folks, let's say thanks to Zach. We appreciate him coming in and spending some time with us tonight, and go watch his midweek show coming up in 9 minutes. Zach, later.
9 minutes.
Thanks.
Okay. Bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Oh, man. Isn't that great? I love it. Zach does such a great job. And just I love the way he solves problems and figures out, if it can't be done, there's a way to do it. He's very modest, and I've known Zach for a good number of years and continue to be impressed with him. Really, really cool. So to all our friends in Australia, we're glad you got to watch us live. Yep. And to all our friends in Europe who tuned in, thank you for staying up late. For our friends in Nepal, thank you for getting up at 4:45 in the morning to watch. And James is going to go back and watch the part he missed. He's been sick as a dog all week. That's right. James, thank you for sharing about the JVC PTZ cam. That was really helpful to my guys up in Oregon. That was the missing link they needed to get that rascal plugged into vMix so they could use it to stream. And they'd spent, $5,400 on that camera US, and are about to buy another one. So it was a good deal. Yeah, Rich says it's late there in California. Late like 10 till 5 in the afternoon. Oh my goodness. Good night, Rudy. Rudy's watching from Belgium where it's after midnight. So thanks for tuning in. Glad to have you. Scott, welcome. Greg, welcome. Didn't see you guys slip in. Dave's here. Tommy's here. Tommy and I had a good time earlier today on the World of Live Streaming show, along with Dave and Merle and Giles and others. Rich is here. Welcome, Rich. Always love hanging out with Rich. Michael Wilson is here from Mississippi. Welcome. Howard Jones is here. And, of course, Tim from vMix is here. Let's see. Prashana says, see you guys next week. Have a nice day. 2 a.m. for Reedy and 1 a.m. for Giles. Well, you guys better take the rest of the day off. Okay. James has loaned his... Can I say this? Should I say this? That James has loaned the JVC PTZ to vMix so it can be programmed in as a vMix one-touch camera. That is cool. Very cool. All right. Yeah, Prashana is saying a lot of guys are watching the show at the time I normally do, which is the middle of the night, like 1 o'clock in the morning. How hot is it there in Alabama? Michael, I don't know. I don't go outside. I don't know outside. Oh, Tim says it is owned by JVC. It's not a gift to you. It's a loan. Oh, I thought they were giving you that camera. Okay. But it's cool that you've got it and can use it, and that it can serve double duty in helping vMix get it tuned in. And my guess would be that there's at some point there's going to be enough common language in those guys where you can you just have the generic and plug it in by the generic. Hopefully that'll be the case. Yeah, PTZs are catching on. PTZs are catching on big time. And if you're interested in PTZs, we do represent PTZ Optics. In fact, I just got a brand new 20X in as a demo this week. So I'm excited to, I might do an unboxing, all that. Although, everybody knows what they look like. Still, unboxings are kind of fun because you get to see all the stuff that comes in the box. And that way, when you get one, you have a good idea of what you're getting. So we'll probably do that. And we'll probably also do a lens fitting. We've ordered a new lens for our Marshall cam, and that should be in Friday, so we can kind of get that on. And then, of course, we've got the WIDA, the WYDA video transmitter, wireless HDMI video transmitter coming in. At some point, Howard sent me some tracking. Let's see if I can find it here. Tracking. And when did that guy come in? There it is. USPS tracking. Still not available. Okay, so it's going to have to wait till later for it to get picked up from the Postal Service or whatever. Okay. All right. So, folks, a lot of fun today. Thank you very much for tuning in. If you're just now tuning in, I'm sorry, the show's over and the post show's over. We could do a post show. Tommy says, all vendors send me an item of yours and I'll do a redneck review of the stuff that comes with it. There you go. Reviewer keeps the items. That's right. No. If anybody wants to send us something to review, know that we will send it back in as good a condition as we got it. Some of the stuff we just buy, and then, that way I don't have to worry about if I break it, it's on my neck. And then if I don't want to keep it, I'll resell it on eBay. And, I essentially pay, a little rental on it. Plus, I get to know the products that I really want to own long term and the ones that I don't. I'm looking right now at my collection of capture cards. Obsolete capture cards, some, and still working capture cards. I count 1, 2, 3 Intensity Pros up there that, I kind of cycle in and out as needed different places. So they're cycled out at the moment in favor of mini recorders because I was using some small 2U rack mount cases. Anyway. Giles says, I think now that NDI has come to PTZ and other network cams, NDI standard control should make it easy to plug any cam in and get it working right away. Well, there should, and there's would, and there's could. And we don't know which it is at this point. And Tim says, if you want free vMix, come to easternshorebroadcasting.com and pay for it. No, go to their Facebook page and enter their contest. They're going to be giving it away next Tuesday. Michael Wilson has 3 or 4 composite cards still, 2 Dazzles. Michael, do you still have your 6-port composite card? Oh, you did, plus the Magewell. Okay. I think Chuck is still on the show. Was it Chuck that was interested in that? Or somebody? Who was I talking to that was interested in Michael, in a multi-port standard definition card? I don't know. Tim says that you can buy it from me if you really want to. So thank you, Tim. I appreciate that endorsement. You can come to easternshorebroadcasting.com and buy vMix and, of course, get personal service from Tom Sinclair, the streaming idiot. Or you can have a free copy given to you by vMix, and you don't get me. Giles has some old Win TV cards. There we go. Okay, Michael says, in touch with the fellow you set me up with. That would be Al. I don't think Al's in the... Oh, Samuel's here. Hey, Samuel, it's the middle of the night for you, buddy. What are you doing watching? Samuel's watching us from Norway, where even in the summer it's cold. Holy cow. All right, he hopes to do a deal soon. Oh, yeah, the Isabus. Yeah, I remember the good old Isabus. Actually, I don't. It was that long ago. Guest 88, welcome. Glad to have you in here for the post show. Tommy says he's a homeless live streamer. He needs help. Yeah, Tommy needs help. All right. Not that kind of help. The other kind of help. Oh, I love it. I love it, love it, love it. By the way, if you're still watching us on YouTube or Facebook, it's not too late to come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and get in on the chat room so that you can see all the cool stuff that I'm referring to. And somebody just sent me a PM in Facebook, and I will reply to that as soon as we finish out the show. So thank you for that. Goodness, let's see. Okay. Well, guys, thank you so much. Those of you that are staying up late and getting up early and, missing your breakfast, lunch, or dinner to watch the show. Actually, I'm missing my dinner. So James says he's got to run. He'll catch us on Facebook. If you haven't already, join the Streaming Idiots group, facebook.com/groups/Streaming Idiots. And you will get in on the coolest group on Facebook. Come on over to easternshorebroadcasting.com and you can buy PTZ Optics cameras tonight. You can buy X keys tonight. You can buy vMix tonight and actually get your license tonight. You can buy Magewell capture cards. You can buy Rich a beer. All right. Tim's like, breakfast. I knew I forgot something. All right, and don't forget, StreamFest is Saturday, August 5th. We'll be participating on StreamFest at noon Eastern Time, and then again at 3 p.m. Eastern Time. So that's going to be a lot of fun. We'll see you then. Have a great night. We'll see everybody soon. We're going to let the show kind of run out so we don't lose you.